This one plugin will make your HYPERPOP beats pop, and the best part is it's completely free. Many of you will probably have it already installed, but might have never used it. Let's take a look at this beat right here. I've used the plugin that I'm talking about on many of those tracks here, and let's take a listen. This beat is a bit of a mixture out of trap and hyperpop, but it has this typical hyperpop sound. And the plugin is, big reveal, a bit crusher. And specifically this bit crusher from KHS, I think it stands for Kilohertz Suite. And this is completely free. It's a big pack with many free plugins, and I didn't even know I had this plugin until I searched for a bit crusher plugin and saw that I already have one installed, and it's pretty good. So what this plugin does is it downsamples the track that you put it on to a certain frequency. So if I have it on this track right here, it will lower the sample rate and make it sound crushed. I am playing this track without the bit crusher plugin and with the bit crusher plugin. And you instantly hear this typical crushed, distorted sound that instantly gives this hyperpop or this nostalgic retro feeling. And you've got some other possibilities to set up something here. Most of the time I just leave all of these untouched. The three knobs I mostly use are the downsample rate, the bits knob and the mix knob. And because we are reducing the resolution of the audio, we are getting this distorted sound that many like in these hyperpop beats. So there are two main ways to use this bit crusher. The first is to just put it on instrument tracks like we did here and play around with this downsample rate, play around with the distortion to get the sound that you want. And for this effect, 99% of the time I leave the mix at 100%. But for the second method, I am putting the bit crusher on our master track. And as you can see, I've turned the mix down to around 10%. And I've also turned the bitrate up a bit. But for demonstration, I will turn up the mix to 100%. And we will put the bitrate to the max. And we are slowly decreasing the bitrate so you can hear what is happening to the sound. If I add the bit crusher to the master, I like to keep it around 10 kHz, but that's not like a generic rule. Just try what sounds best for you. And then I'm turning the mix down. I'm doing this just to add a little more of that gritty texture that can sound pretty good in many beats. And I like to put this most of the time right after my soft clipper on the master, but before the rest of the mastering chain. And right there I've opened another project, which sounds like this. And here I've used the bit crusher mostly on this vocal chops track, which would sound like this without the bit crusher. And with the bit crusher. And I've done the same on this other track. So you can hear again that this bit crusher adds that digital sounding aesthetic that we want in this hyperpop type beats, this digital electronic beats. Without this bit crusher effect, I feel like something's missing in the beat, and after I turn it on, it feels more full, the beat feels more complete, and also adds a little bit of what ear candy would do, because we have these really high, very sharp frequencies that tickle your ear. So if you feel like your beats are sounding too clean and you can't really get that gritty texture, that distortion, you should definitely try this bit crusher effect, especially because it's completely free. And every time I'm using the plugin, I really like the fact that it's such a simple plugin, but it adds so much to the beat. But what's important for most of those plugins is don't overdo it and try to find a specific sweet spot where it works for your beat. If the video helped you, like and subscribe and comment your favorite plugin for those hyperpop beats. See you next time.